Hi, it's Prisha, and as you read in the title, people paid me money to see my face. It all started one day when two men came to my house and grabbed my hand by force. I tried to fight it, but no one would listen. One of the men said, "I don't know why she is complaining about this. It's not like they are torturing her." And the other man replied, "She's to be set like a queen. How spoiled she is." These words did not comfort me. I wasn't flattered, and I definitely was not ready for any of these alleged privileges I was about to have. I wanted them to let me go. I heard my parents in the background saying, take her, she knows nothing." The men put me in the carriage. I was shivering, not of cold, but of anger. Why can't they understand that I don't want this position? And what about my parents offering me like a scapegoat? What the hell? I didn't have a chance to catch my breath. They took me to a temple. Some girls took care of me. They washed me, made me wear red clothes, put dozens of heavy necklaces around my neck, and tied my hair like a knot. Then they put makeup on my face, which made me look like a doll. The eyeliner was so long it could reach the US. After that, I was placed on a chair. An old woman came and put a red sticker on my forehead, and in an instant, the priests who were around me, gasped and bowed before me. What? What just happened? The old woman said, "Meet your new goddess." She started mumbling some words. They were prayers, I guess. Then I was sent out. 4 men were holding my chair up so everyone could see me. The horrible news came after this ceremony. Dad told me strictly that I had become the new goddess, so I mustn't speak to anyone outside the family. I won't be going to school soon, and my feet shouldn't touch the ground, which means that I wouldn't be able to walk. What? What about my friends, my school, my life? I screamed at him, "Dad, I told you I want nothing to do with this." But he just said in a threatening voice, "I can't touch you because you are sacred now. But if you say this again, I will punish you." So I kept quiet. The next day, Dad held me and took me to the temple. People came to worship me and get my blessings. My blessings! Me, the little girl who was afraid to disobey her father, is believed to have superpowers. What the hell? Were they crazy? But I just had to go along with it. I had to perform the practices they wanted me to do, and I had to stay motionless while doing so. I couldn't smile or laugh. I was basically a statue. People started giving me gifts: money, clothes, flowers, toys, food, and sometimes alcohol, and I had to take them to show that the gods had accepted their gifts. At that point, it became clear to me why my parents forced me to do this. They needed the money. We were very poor, and this was my parents' chance to have a comfortable life. The government paid them a monthly allowance because they were taking care of a goddess, and they were taking anything people were offering me. I became so angry. I was their cash cow now. This was not the life I chose or wanted to live. Escaping was not an option. I was young, and I knew that Dad or the men working on the temple would catch me fast. If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. I came up with a plan. I told my sister to tell everyone, apart from my parents, I would pray more for them if they paid money. The higher the number, the more I prayed. I also told them to put money near my feet so it is easier for me to get to them. It worked. I started hiding the money in my chamber. There was also this guy who apparently fell in love with me. He came every day to get my blessings, and he gave me a huge amount of money. I felt sorry for him. I didn't want him to waste his money. So one day, when we were alone in the room, I talked to him. I told him, "You know I'm not a goddess. This is fake." He was stunned. He couldn't believe that I talked to him. But he replied, "No, you are a goddess. Don't you see how beautiful you look?" "I'm not a goddess." "Yes, you are." "I'm not." "Yes, you are." The whole conversation seemed pointless. If he's insisting to be fooled, then so be it. I'll take everything he offered. After a while, my older sister suggested that we put the money in a bank. That way, Dad wouldn't be able to find it. So every day at night, I would hand her what people had offered me, and she would put it in the bank. It was like that for a while until one morning, I woke up to my parents screaming. My sister had left the house. I knew it in my gut that she stole all the money in the bank. I felt betrayed. Why did she do that? I trusted her. I thought we would leave this together. For 2 days, I refused to go out. I pretended to be sick. I needed to think of some other plan to get the hell out of here. People thought it was a bad omen for the goddess to get sick, but I didn't care. I needed to think of a way to get out. Then it hit me in the face. I need to lie. I told my parents that I had some dreams about an earthquake coming. I lied to them, of course. They freaked out and told the priests about it. The priests warned the people to get out of the village. They actually fell for it. They thought I could predict such a thing. What were they thinking? I was the weather woman? My parents decided to leave too. They put everything they had in boxes, put me in a carriage, and left. We moved to the nearest city in the middle of the day, and of course, they took me to the nearest temple. But I just couldn't take it anymore. Blessing people, not being able to talk or walk or make friends, it was all too much. At night, I put the little money I had in a little bag. I changed the ugly dress and I sneaked out. I got to the nearest train station. It was old and rusty. I was scared. After all, that was the first time in 2 years to be outside the temple. I saw people buying tickets. I bought a ticket for the first train leaving and went. The train took me to another city. When I left, I got off and bought myself some food. I was mesmerized by everything I was seeing. The people, the buildings, the cars, and everything around. Morning came. I had to look for a place to stay. The little money I had was not enough to keep me out of the streets. I asked people about an orphanage and went there. I found a nice young woman who asked me about who I was. I lied and told her that my parents left me alone and I had no one I could live with. I told her that my name was Jaya. She told me I could live there as long as I behaved well, but she has to inform the authorities that a new girl was enlisted in the orphanage. Life was bad there. We didn't have enough food. We only got used clothes and managed with the donations people gave us. But people there were nice. No one was worshiping me now or offering me gifts, but I had time to do whatever I want and be by myself. The orphanage was only for girls. After having our poor breakfast, we would go to school and then go back and help clean the orphanage. Sometimes we would go out with our caretakers for short visits in town. Life was simple, but after I turned 17 years old, I started to worry. In a year, they would ask me to move out because I would legally be able to get a job. Where would I go? I thought about it a lot when one day, when we were buying groceries, I saw my sister. She changed a lot since the last time I saw her, but I could still recognize her face easily. She was walking with a man and a child. I was furious. I've been living in this miserable life while she was having a life of her own, happy, married with a child. I called her by name and she was shocked to see me. She looked at her husband and mumbled some words. He took the young boy and left, so we were left alone. Our meeting was not nice. I was angry and she was arrogant enough not to admit that she had done something wrong. I asked for my money back. She said she does not have it, but she'll give me some money and get me a job so I can manage. I started working as a secretary for a company. The company would send girls to work as maids in foreign countries. I always wondered why so many girls were interested in this kind of job. I mean, it was all about cleaning and home chores, but when I heard about how much money they were making, I wanted to go too. Why wouldn't I? I have no family here. I applied for the job, and because my boss liked me so much, he managed to find me a good family within a month. I traveled with all my belongings, money, my passport, personal documents, and my clothes all in one suitcase. And just like that, I was the maid of a wealthy family. I had my own room, I worked 5 days a week and got 2 days for myself. They offered me food and even bought me clothes sometimes. So the salary I got was all for me and I could do whatever I want with it. Things were getting better until one of the family's boys fell in love with me. He saw me as the most beautiful girl he had ever met. He wanted to marry me. His family, particularly his mom, was not excited for it. But after they saw how determined he was, they gave in. I was over the moon. This meant the end of my misery. I was no longer a maid, and I was about to have a family. We married and lived in a big house. It was all peachy and rosy in the beginning. He loved me and bought me everything I asked for and everything I needed. I got pregnant and I was ready to have a baby when my husband died in a terrible car accident. Life became gloomy again. What the hell was I supposed to do now? My son's grandfather assured me that he'll keep taking care of me and give me an allowance, but I wanted more. I didn't want to go back to the poor life I had. I needed to secure myself. So after I gave birth, I started my own business. I founded a cleaning company. I would bring girls and women from my own country to work at other people's houses. It was a good business, and soon I became rich and I could live comfortably again. 2 years later, however, I saw my sister's name on the applicants' list to work. I couldn't believe my eyes. Something in me felt good. I thought she was finally getting what she deserved. I sent her an approval letter and paid for her flight. When she saw her new boss, she went pale. She didn't expect it to be me, and she didn't expect me to have all that I had. She told me that both her husband and child got sick, and she had to pay all she got for their treatments to the hospitals. Unfortunately, nothing could save them, and they died. She was left alone, just like I did many years ago. I wanted to take revenge, but I couldn't. I gave her a job, and now she is working for me. She's trying hard to get closer to me. I don't want to for the time being, but who knows what will happen in the future. What do you think of my story? Did you like it? Tell me in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel.